Hello everyone, my name is Heather and welcome back to the channel Bookables. Today I'm going to show you every single book I read in 2023. Now, I read a good amount of books. Whether it's good or not to you, like the amount wise, is up for debate. Some people could think my number is a lot, some people could think it's little. You know, it's a lot for me, and that's what I'll say. So in total in 2023, I read 90 books, which I think is amazing. With 2 kids, I will gladly pat myself on the back for that. I see people reading like 150, 200 with kids, and I'm like, that's amazing. I think, you know what, if you read any at all in the year, I think is amazing, because reading is something that not a lot of people do, sadly, which is sad to me because I love reading. But regardless, if you read 1 book last year, if you read 10 books, if you read 100, either way, pat yourself on the back. You did good. So we're going to go through every single book I read just very shortly, month by month, telling you my rating, what the genre was, and just maybe a couple things about it, because I don't want to be here forever, because I literally don't have time to be here forever. I have about 20 minutes to do this, so let's get on to it. So like I said, I read 90. As far as stats goes, I read 40 romances, 21 thrillers, 9 fantasy, 6 literary fiction, 5 horror, 4 YA books, and 4 nonfiction books. So, like I said, I'm going to go into my stats, and I'm going to go through every single month of what I read. So, starting off in January, I read a total of 6 books. The book I read last year was X's and O's by Amy Lee, which I gave a 3 out of 5. This was a cute, fluffy romance book that is perfect to read near Valentine's Day. I don't remember a lot about it, but it was cute. My first horror of the year, How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, and if you know, it was on my top 10 of the year. I loved it. It was very emotional, yet very scary. Hands down amazing. I read Do I Know You by Emily Wibberley and Osman Singh Mabroka. This was their second adult book, and I did not like it. I gave it a 2 out of 5. I love The Roughest Draft. Did not like this one at all. Then I read Final Print by Lauren Asher. This is book 1 of the Dreamland Billionaire series. I gave it a 3 out of 5. It was a cute romance, steamy romance, and I will be continuing on with the series. Then What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall was her first foray into adult thriller. I gave it a 2. I didn't love it. It was very predictable. I'm sad about it. It is what it is. Then lastly, in January, I read Cackle by Rachel Harrison. This is a horror. Rachel Harrison to me is really not horror, but I give it a 3 out of 5. It was a witchy book about friendship and witchy. It wasn't really scary, but I liked it. 3 out of 5. Moving into February, I read 7 books, so we're moving up. The first one I read was Ruby Spencer's Whiskey Year by Rochelle Billow. I'm referring to my notebook, by the way. I gave this a 2 out of 5. This was meant to be like an Outlander Scottish romance, and honestly, it was straight up boring. So I did not like it. I have Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey, which coincidentally enough, I also gave a 2 out of 5. I did not like the romance, the characters. It was just kind of a blah book, which I love Tessa Bailey, so it was a bummer, but it happened. And another 2 out of 5. I guess February was a really rough reading month for me. The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz, which was one of my most anticipated books of the year. It sounded really awesome, but it just failed on execution. I felt like the thrilling aspects were not that thrilling, and it was just kind of blah. But some people love it, so take my word with a grain of salt. Then I have a 5-star. I read Legends and Lattes by Travis Baltree, a cozy fantasy, which I loved and adored. If you want to read about an orc open up a coffee shop, read this book. I also read My Phony Valentine by Courtney Wash, which I gave a 4 out of 5. It was a clean romance that was super cute, super perfect to read near Valentine's Day. Then I read Twisted Love by Anna Huang. I gave it a 2 out of 5. I don't get the hype with it. It was a little bit too much for me, but I can see why people love it. So if you love it, I think that's awesome. Then I ended the month with another thriller, Beneath Devil's Bridge by Lawrence Ann White. I give this 3 out of 5. It was okay. It wasn't very memorable, so I can't tell you much about it. I forgot I read Someone Else's Shoes by Jojo Moyes, 3 out of 5. It was okay. Wasn't that amazing. Moving into March, I read 9 books, so yay. Also read a good amount of YA books this month, probably the only time I really read them. I have Spells for Lost Things by Jenna Evans Welch. This was a YA kind of witchy book. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. It was cute. I read The Love Wager by Lynn Painter, which is an adult romance book. Again, a 3 out of 5. It was cute. I don't remember much about it, which is why it's getting a 3. I read The Golden Spoon by Jessa Maxwell, which I also gave a 3. This was a cozy mystery that was very much pitched as like mystery meets The Great British Bake Off, which I love and adore, as do a lot of people, and it was okay in that regard. It just wasn't it for me. I've learned that cozy mysteries are just kind of not for me, and that's okay. Then I read Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, a very popular TikTok book. I gave it a 3 out of 5. It was okay. It was way too long, as most TikTok books, in my opinion, are way too long. Right, because I was doing like a whole series of like, are TikTok books worth the hype? I decided to read Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon, and I gave it a 4 out of 5. If you're shocked as I am, it's okay. Was I expecting to give a 4 out of 5 to an alien, human, steamy romance? No. But here we are. And we have The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. This is a YA book by her, and I really enjoyed it. I love her YA books. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I read another TikTok book, Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Again, it was cute. The romance was cute. It was steamy, but again, way too long. Then I have a thriller, What Have You Done by Alex Finlay, which I gave it 3 out of 5, and thus marks my end of my Alex Finlay journey. I've read 3 of his books. They have all been subpar, and I'm saying goodbye, and that is okay. See You Yesterday by Rachel Lynn Solomon, which I gave a 4 out of 5. In April, I went back down to 8, so I read 8 books. First up being The Soulmate by Sally Hepworth, a thriller that wasn't very thrilling. I would say it's kind of almost like a domestic light thriller. I gave it a 3 out of 5. It was okay. Read Happy Place by Emily Henry, and I loved it. 5 out of 5. Who's surprised? Not me. Some people don't love it. Dare I say, it's my favorite Emily Henry. There, I said it. Then, after that, I read another 5 out of 5. That is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I love this book. I love this author. A great romance that has great representation. Loved it. And I read The Last Word by Taylor Adams, which I gave a 3. I love the concept of this, wish it was a little bit differently, but could make an amazing movie. I read Take the Lead by Alexis Dario. This was actually a reprint. I did not know, but it's very much, if you like Dancing with the Stars, read this book. 3 out of 5. It's literally like Dancing with the Stars. Oh, and then I read, March was a good 5-star reading month for me because I read In a Jam by Kate Canterbury, a random Kindle Unlimited book I came across, and I gave it 5 out of 5 and had to buy a physical copy. I love this one. This one's long, but I did not care. I thought it was well worth it. Then I read The Only Survivors. I forgot who wrote this, but I gave it a 2 out of 5. It was a thriller that was not thrilling in any aspect or form. And lastly, I ended up with my very first Frida McFadden book, maybe my last, I don't know. And that is The Inmate. I gave it a 2 out of 5. I thought it was very predictable. I did not understand the plot, like how it could happen, but you know, it is what it is. I can understand why her books are addicting, her writing is addicting, it's easy to get into, but I just don't know if it's for me. I might give her another chance. May, I read 8 books again. Unfortunately Yours by Tessa Bailey, which is the sequel to Secretly Yours, which I did not like at all, but I did like the sequel and gave it a 4 out of 5. Hate to Love, Fake Marriage. Thought it was really good. Probably my favorite Tessa Bailey of the year. And then I have The Mostly True Story of Tanner and Louise by Colleen Oakley. I gave it a 3 out of 5. It was very much a kind of Thelma and Louise book, but it was just kind of okay. I have Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune, 2 out of 5. One of my least favorite books of the whole year. Like, I do not understand the plot of it. Moving on. Then I have The True Love Experiment by Christine Lauren. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was cute. It's a sequel to their book last year, The Soulmate Equation. With Christina Lauren books, I find most of them are just kind of palette cleansers for me. And then I have The Daydreams by Laura Hankin. I read this one, Hawken maybe, 2 out of 5. I thought it was gonna be cool. I thought it was gonna be like kind of Daisy Jones and the Six. It was not. I did not enjoy it. Summer Reading by Jen McKinley. I gave it 3 out of 5. It was okay. It kind of was a book about nothing. There was so many things going into it which got the plot muddled, so it just wasn't 100% for me, but it was okay. Then I read my first Sarah Adams book, When in Rome, gave it a 3 out of 5. Cute romance, small town, clean romance. Lastly, I ended the month with Wayward by Amelia Hart, 5 out of 5. Loved it. Great historical fantasy book, like amazing. Moving into June, I read 7 books. The first one being one of my favorite books of the entire year, The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. Love this one. Great football, great slow burn. Read it. Well, you know, I read another popular TikTok book, Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Yes, I fell on the hype train with this. Yes, I gave it a 5 out of 5. Yes, we're gonna move on. Then I read another one of my least favorite books of the whole year, Business or Pleasure by Rachel Lynn Solomon. The romance of this was so cringy. 2 out of 5. Then I read Riley Sager's newest book, The Only One Left. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It's definitely still not my favorite Riley Sager book. That will always be Home Before Dark, but this was a good kind of atmospheric thriller of his. Then I have my favorite book of the whole year, The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. 5 out of 5, very beautiful literary fiction, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It was beautiful. Flawless by Elsie Silver. This was a Western romance. I gave it 3 out of 5. Cute, and will be continuing on with the series. And lastly, I ended the month with You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose, which I gave it 3 out of 5. The cover is the best part of this book. And the ending. The ending was interesting, and I was not expecting it, so I did like the ending. So it was decent. July was probably my best reading month because I read 10. Where I had all the time, I don't know. But the last one by Will Dean, an amazing thriller, 5 out of 5. People, like a woman abandoned on a cruise ship. It was amazing. Then I have another Sarah Adams book, The Cheat Sheet, which the sequel should be coming out this year, like the companion novel. I give it a 3 out of 5. Again, super cute, clean romance. Hello Stranger by Catherine Center. I gave, honestly, more I'm thinking about it, a 2 out of 5. It just was not there for me. It was a lot of miscommunication. Just if people would have communicated better, I don't know. It was okay. Another 2 out of 5 is The Twisted Love Story by Samantha Downing. This was not thrilling at all. It was just literally about a toxic couple. Dare I say, I felt like I was reading a Colleen Hoover book, and I was not ready for that. Then I read a horror thriller book, Dead 11 by Jimmy Julian. 4 out of 5. Very interesting concept. Really enjoyed it. And the cover, whenever there's a VHS tape on a cover, I will buy it. None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I gave a 4 out of 5. My favorite Lisa Jewell book I've read. It's been a while since I've really enjoyed one of her books. A great thriller book with mixed media that I really enjoyed. Because I was still searching for a book similar to Fourth Wing, I read Serpent in the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent and was not disappointed. 5 out of 5. A great vampire fantasy. My favorite fantasy of the year. And then I read the sequel, The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Did not love it, sadly, but I'm happy to have finished the duology. Then I read Everyone Here Is Lying by Sherry LaPena, which might end my Sherry LaPena journey because I gave it a 2 out of 5. She writes a lot of domestic thrillers that are just kind of not so thrilling in my opinion. And lastly, I ended the month with Grayson's Vow by Mia Sheridan. I gave this a 3 out of 5. It was okay. I don't remember much about it. Moving into August, I read a grand total of 6 books. Whew, watch out. The first one I read was one of my favorite reads of the year, like fun-wise, and that is My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. Super fun. Just a great fun romance that was vampire-y. I liked it. Then I have Good Girl, Bad Girl by Alice Feeney. 2 out of 5. I was so disappointed because I love Daisy Darker by this author. This one just was not for me. I also read Dark Corners by Megan Golden, which I gave a 3 out of 5. It was the sequel to The Night Swim. I did not know if it was necessary by any means. Then I read Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus, which I gave a 4 out of 5 and was very surprised to feel that way. Don't ask me if I've watched the adaptation. I haven't. Then I read Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This was an okay one, not my favorite, but I will be reading the sequel. Then I read a Christian nonfiction. I read Find Your People by Jenny Allen. I'm not going to read this because it's nonfiction, but I did really enjoy it. It's a great Christian book if you're trying to find your village. It's a great one. September, I read 8 books. I read All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. Did not love this one as much as While Winnipeg and Me, but 3 out of 5. I read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore. 3 out of 5. It was okay. If you just want a book that's just literally fall, check it out. Then I read The Coffee Shop of Curiosities by Heather Weber. Again, much like the last one I talked about, if you want a fall book, 3 out of 5. It was okay. Then I read The September House by Carissa Orlando, and I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was very fun horror book that I really enjoyed, honestly. Then I have The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic by Brianne Randall. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was very hyped up, and I can see why. It was good. I gave it a 4. And then I have, sorry, I'm trying to go all over the place, The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. 4 out of 5. It was a good time travel romance. Then I have Black Sheep right here by Rachel Harrison, a horror book that was so fun. Like, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. Like, it was crazy. Last book I read in September was Juniper Hill by Dabney Perry. 3 out of 5. Small town romance. Don't remember much. Moving in October, I read 8. I read The Stranger Upstairs by Lisa Matlin. 2 out of 5. Was not thrilling. I did not like the plot twist. Blech. Then I read The Engagement Party by Darby Kane. Another 2 out of 5. All these characters are horrible. It was supposed to be like, I Know What You Did Last Summer. It was not. I have Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. I gave it a 3 out of 5. It was very much like adult Twilight. which is very odd to say, but it was. Then I read My Darling Girl by Jennifer McMahon, a horror book, which I gave a 5 out of 5. Like, if this is not adapted soon, I'm gonna be pissed because this was amazing. Better Hate Than Never by Chloe Leese, gave it a 4 out of 5. It was a good hate to love romance, childhood kind of thing. Then I read Morbidly Yours by Ivy Fairbanks, a 4 out of 5. It was super cute. This Spells Love by Kate Robb, 4.5 out of 5. It was one romance that went under the radar for everybody, and I needed to buy a copy of it. I loved it. And I ended the month with another nonfiction book, and that is When Striving Ceased by Ruth Chou Simons. This was another great one. I really enjoyed it. Moving into November, I have Counting the Cost by Jill Duggar, a nonfiction book. It was pretty good. I grew up kind of watching 17 Kids, 18, however many kids and counting. It was interesting. Then I have Funny Feelings by Tara DeWitt. Gave it a 4 out of 5. Loved it. We'll definitely be reading more from that author. Mixed Signals by B.K. Borison, book 3. Loved it, 4 out of 5. Super cute. Then I read Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree, the prequel to Legend and Lattes. Again, super cute, cozy fantasy, 4 out of 5. Then I read Assistant to the Villain, 2 out of 5. I did not enjoy it. Then I read, oh gosh, a book that took me by surprise, The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Winstead. Amazing, 5 out of 5. Amazing sweeping romance. For the holiday reads, I read A Festive Feud by Maren Moore, a novella, which I gave a 3 out of 5. Then we have 5 books for December, and that's it. Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey, 2 out of 5. I don't want to talk about it. I did not like it. Then I read Snowed In by Catherine Moss, the sequel to Holiday Romance. Loved it, 4 out of 5. Read it. Then I have Wreck My Plans by Jillian Meadows, another holiday romance. That was cute. I gave a 3 out of 5. I read another Tessa Bailey. It's a novella, same time next year, kind of a New Year's Eve one. 3 out of 5. It was okay. The last book I read of the year is Every Woman is a Theologian by Priscilla Masonheimer, which I really, really enjoyed. Great. Probably my favorite nonfiction read of the year. So there you have all 90 books I read this year. Like, that's a lot. I gotta put all these back. Ugh, I'm not looking forward to that. But either way, if you've read any of these, let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on them. But you know what? I'm out of time, so I have to go. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.